And now for every remaining game this season, whether it's only 1 or 3, the Stanley Cup will be in the building. The Washington Capitals win and win big, 6-2 over the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 4 of the 2018 Stanley Cup Final, taking a 3-1 series lead, 1 win shy of the Cup. Vegas fans watching like, stop turning the knife! Look, when I post a video, I get tweets all the time like, dude, I just can't watch this one, I'm too heartbroken. And I get it, I'm about to go through the game and talk about 8 goals and 6 of them were scored against your team. So before I get to the game, I want to start by addressing Vegas Golden Knights fans. First of all, hi, this must not be a familiar feeling. This tweet from Matt Larkin's pretty bonkers. How conflict-free has Vegas' season been so far? Its current 3-game losing streak in the final equals its longest skid all season in franchise history, haha. Steve, you said you were gonna make it better? I'm getting there. Look. Winning the Stanley Cup is hard. I say that as a Leafs fan, and obviously they had trouble even making the playoffs for like a decade, but that doesn't account for how incredibly difficult the Stanley Cup playoffs are. And maybe no team knows that better than the Washington Capitals. No team breezes to the Stanley Cup. In fact, no team breezes to the 3rd round, as they found out the hard way like 17 times. The playoffs are just a different monster, and for 4 to 7 games, you are locked in with these people. One leaves the arena victorious and the other doesn't make it. But don't take my word for it, I'm just a jaded Leafs fan. Sometimes you need a kid to put everything in perspective. Now, as many of you know, James Neal grew up in Whitby, Ontario and went to school there. I happen to know a super secret source at one of his old schools, and I know that the students there are sending the Golden Knights letters, which are currently on their way and hopefully make it before Game 5. I have obtained one of the letters from one of the students, and I would like to read it to you, and I think it will make you feel better. Here it is. Open your mind to optimism. Dear James Neal, good luck in the Stanley Cup Finals. You guys deserve to win. What a story this season has been. If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be to use your body, especially on Evgeny Kuznetsov. He loves to skate into the left wing side, then cut into the slot and take a shot. He's done this most of the playoffs, so make sure you poke check him as well as you body check him. Also, get into Ovi's office, where he gets his one-timer goals from. Excellent input. Now, I've already seen disgusting Twitter conspiracy theories that I wrote that, and I'm here to clear that up. My handwriting is not nearly that neat. Alright, look. Let's talk about the game. Vegas fans, if you turn it off now, I won't blame you, but come on. 1 minute and 8 seconds in, Alex Tuck throws it on post. Bummer, but it's okay. I'm sure Vegas will get it back. Minutes later, Thomas Tatar has the puck on the power play. Healthy scratching a guy forever and then throwing him on the power play in the middle of the Stanley Cup Final. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off. Tahaula, Holtby's dead to rights. Easy pass over to James Neal. Open nets. There's like airport workers standing in the crease. Shoots. So I was watching that game at a restaurant with some friends. I actually involuntarily, I had no control over it, stood up and screamed. What? It might have been slightly deflected. It might have just straight hit the post. Either way, you might look at the final score and go, look, the Caps won 6-2. Vegas had no chance in this one. That's not how hockey works. That's not how sports work. It could completely change the outcome of the game. And we're just waiting for the tipping point. There it is, actually the tripping point. Colin Miller taking a just blatant call on Lars Eller. Dude, you can't stick out your foot like that. On the power play, loose puck in front. It's in TJ Oshie's feet, kicks it right up to his stick, scores. The Caps are on top. At home. Again. Completely changes the makeup of the entire game. Because you're up. You got home ice advantage. Ovechkin's going bananas. The crowd is going bananas. The goal horn is literally a cop siren. Dude, you might not look at it as important, but anyone who's played the Caps knows that you scored the first goal in Washington against the Caps. Every time the Caps have been the favorite, they've crumbled. And it was amazing. Part of the reason I think they've gotten by in these playoffs is they've been considered the underdog. They won 2 straight against the Lightning. They're up 2-0. They became the odds-on Stanley Cup favorite. They lost 3 straight games and almost got eliminated. Ifs and buts, though, they're up 1-0. Fleury makes the initial save, but he's so far out of the net, he's just got no chance on Oshie. If he gets the shot off, and it was incredible he was able to do that. Right off the face-off, Derek Engelin's dealing with a man in front. Tom Wilson's got the puck behind the net in the corner, and he lures Shea Theodore out of position. Jonathan Marchessault sees this, and he goes, no! Wilson to Kuznetsov, both of them ignore Wilson and go after Kuznetsov, who passes it right back to Wilson, who still exists, by the way. Didn't stop existing over that 2-second span. Shoots, scores, 2-0 Caps. It changes the complexion of the whole game. Holy Holy smokes, Evgeny Kuznetsov. It's amazing that a team with Nicklas Backstrom has an even better playmaker, it looks like. But you know what? That's a 2-goal lead. That's a 2-0 lead. It's bad news. It's not good, but it's nothing Vegas hasn't overcome. Less than 30 seconds left. Shea Theodore can't clear the zone. There's a scramble in front, and no one really picks Smith-Pelly up. William Karlsson like half gets him. Smith-Pelly scores, and yeah! Again, maybe it's because he's a Toronto guy, a Scarborough guy, but the story of Smith-Pelly is so good. He's got 6 goals in these playoffs. He had 7 all season in like triple the games. Last season, he only had 4 in more than double the games. His career high is 8. He's a 2-goal performance in Game 5 away from tying that. He's got 40 goals in 341 career NHL regular season games. That's 0.11 goals per game. He's got 12 goals in 47 career playoff games. That's 0.25 goals per game. More than double the rate. He's been traded straight up 1-for-1 twice. Once for Yuri Sekach and the other time for Stefan Matteau. Those two have 13 NHL goals combined. Sekach has played the past 2 seasons in the KHL. Smith-Pelly was on the Canadiens. He was traded for Stefan Matteau. Matteau left the Canadiens to sign with the Vegas Golden Knights, where he played 8 games this season. Maybe stop trading this guy, yeah? Capitals head into intermission with a 3-0 lead at home. Dude, Vegas made mistakes. Of course they made mistakes. That's why they're down 3-0. But the posts! This has been the incredible thing. Defensively, I don't even think the Caps have been that great for their past 3 games, their past 3 wins. Game 2, Holtby bails them out with the save of the year. Game 3, Vegas is fanning on shots like they're trying to keep the ice from melting. Game 4, they get the post a minute in, and then they hit the inside of the post with the widest open of wide open nets. Vegas at least 3 times in this game didn't just have a puck hit the post, had it hit the inside of the post. Nearly halfway through the second, the Caps have a big penalty to kill. Vegas with a chance for momentum. And at the very end of the power play, Miller bomb Holtby grabbed it, I think before it even left Miller's stick somehow. It time traveled. And the stoic reaction of Holtby and the reaction of the crowd, you just knew the Caps weren't going to lose this game. About 5 minutes left in the period, there's a penalty call. Now, I didn't see what the penalty was right away. All I see is James Neal on the ice clutching his bleeding face. So imagine my surprise when they go to the penalty box and the only person in there is James Neal! He got a slashing call on Braden Holtby and a busted lip for his efforts. On the ensuing power play, the cheat code that is Evgeny Kuznetsov straight over to John Carlson. I felt bad. Carlson blasted that so perfectly, I was like, wow, Ovechkin with another one. Oh, that wasn't him? It's 4-0 heading into the third, and you're just in face-saving mode. Vegas outshoots Washington 11-10 in the first, 11-5 in the second, nothing. And you know what? No, you can't just go into face-saving mode. It's the Stanley Cup final. It's super rare, but teams have come back from 4-0 deficits. You go out there and try to be one of them. Minute 33, Eric Halla takes a slashing call. Okay, they kill that off, and then Halla draws a call on Evgeny Kuznetsov. Vegas on the power play. James Neal's side of the net, finally! And oh, listen, you hear that? Oh, it's quiet. Because 14 minutes left. Vegas isn't, but what if they do? 7.5 minutes now. Oh, see, they're fine. Caps can't clear the zone. Puck to Riley Smith. Forehand back and scores. Woohoo! They're not gonna, but what if they? A minute later, it's 4-on-4. Capitals attacking. TJ Oshie has the puck and throws a hit for at least the second time this game. He clobbered Cody Eakin on the power play, leading to the Carlson goal. On this one, he hits Colin Miller in the face. There's no call. Miller's just standing there holding his mouth. Kuznetsov to Kempny scores. Now, you're gonna want to yell and scream about that because Oshie with the headshot, and it's super unfortunate, but there was a tweet from an account called Puck and Bad Jokes that shows an angle where Miller's face just runs into Oshie's helmet. And in fact, it came out that he broke his nose. Look, I've never broken my nose, so I'm not going to criticize him for stopping on the play. And it wasn't Colin Miller who let his man get away from him, it was Carlson. No one was watching Kempny. There are dirty plays, and there have been plenty in this series. That was not one of them. Few minutes left, now the game starts getting out of hand. Reeves and Wilson take each other off. Schmidt for tripping, McNabb for cross-checking, Oshie and Engelin exchange pleasantries, take each other out. Brett Connolly just adding insult to injury, 6-2. And I saw some people talk about, hey, you don't run up the score. Yeah, you do. There are some situations situations where maybe you don't run up the score, I'll give you that. This is the Stanley Cup Final. If you give anything less than 100% and they come back, you're going to be thinking about it for the rest of your life. And even forget the comeback part. What, is Vegas going to come back next game and try harder because you ran up the score? No, they're going to come back next game and try to play the best game of their entire season, because if they lose next game, they lose the cup. Next game, they're going to be playing to keep the best story in sports alive. And in Game 5, the Capitals are going to be going, best story to you. The Washington Capitals are one game away from their first ever Stanley Cup. Now, Vegas fans, I'm sure you know, I'm sure you've been told, crazier things have happened. In fact, I can remember clear as day, even though I was only 10 years old, watching the 1998 Stanley Cup Final between the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals. Back when the Capitals wore blue. I'm watching Game 4 and I see a sign in the stands in Washington that says, "We remember the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs." And what did the 42 Maple Leafs do? Oh, they only came back from a 3-0 deficit in the Stanley Cup Final to win the cup. And if they were down 3-0, that means they were down 3-1 as well. It's super unlikely, but it has been done. So I guess the question of the game for you, why not you? Okay, some more questions. Have we reached the dramatic all hope is lost LOL JK this is a Disney film moment for the Golden Knights? Yeah, if anyone thinks this series is 100% done, I don't know where you've been all season. It's freaking Vegas, and a team that, put gently, has some baggage when it comes to finishing series. It's not real until the cup is in Alex Ovechkin's hands. How good is Evgeny Kuznetsov? Conn Smythe good. I've been saying that John Carlson is maybe an outside pick for me, and Ovechkin obviously because he's Ovechkin, but Kuzi. Now, remember when he got hit by Braden McNabb and we were wondering if he wouldn't play or if he would be playing hurt? Can you imagine what a different series this would be without Evgeny Kuznetsov? Caps fans are like, I don't want to think about it. Who does Ovi pass the cup to first? Jeez, come on! I said this earlier in the playoffs, I'll say it again. He has to pass it to Nicklas Backstrom, leaving the tap-in line for whoever's commentating the game. And Ovechkin passes to Backstrom for a change. But if he wants to make people mad, he gives it to Wilson. But in order to pass the cup to Wilson, Ovechkin has to have the cup himself, and he's not going to have the cup himself unless the Capitals win. And in order to do that, they need to win just one of the next 3 games. And this series is going back to Vegas. And in Game 5, once that 45-minute pregame show is over, the Caps better come ready to play. Can the Caps finally pull it off? Or can the Golden Knights write one of the best hockey stories of all time? My friends, this is why we watch. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that there is a very important hockey game in Vegas coming up. Yeah, Vegas. Yeah, that one. Really.